All right, let's see if this is see if we're live. All right, there we go. All right, so today we're going to talk about three different stocks again that are trending, and I just want to kind of dig in the numbers. This time I'm a little more prepared when it comes to explaining why they're blowing up and why they're doing so well right now, and why everybody's looking up these different stocks on Google right now. So let's jump right in here. So really, I just wanted to start with, let me pull this up on my screen here. So let's start with Apple. So what's happened is Apple recently released information about doing a deal with Kia and making a vehicle, an Apple car. And so what's happened is there's been some progress with that, and what we'll do is we'll read this article here together that kind of goes over the numbers of things, but essentially Apple and Kia are said to establish a production relationship that will see Kia build Apple cars in the US facility in Georgia. Apple could sign a deal with Kia as soon as February 17th, and so this is big news. You know, Apple looking to make a vehicle, and they're making massive moves as far as how quickly they're willing to get started on production and testing and all those different things. And so super exciting to see these things come into place. And so yeah, so with the aim of introducing Apple cars in 2024. So we'll be seeing Apple cars within 3 years. Pretty crazy stuff. Through that release timeline, is earlier than some prior launch estimates. Apple and Kia are aiming to produce 100,000 vehicles per year when manufacturing kicks off. And so this is awesome news for Apple. It's awesome news for Kia. It's awesome news for everybody, for Apple fanboys and girls. You know, it's something that I'm really excited about, to see what the car looks like, how it's going to feel. Apple has always been about this certain aesthetic when it comes to their products. And so I feel like it's going to be a really exciting product that they're going to release. And so I'm pretty stoked about it, to say the least. And so also just do me a big favor. If you guys are new to the channel, you've never seen me before, I do other things too. I invest $250 a week into the stock market, and I break down the stocks that I put my money into before I do it. And so if you're interested in seeing my progress and my journey, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment on what you think about these three stocks that I'm talking about tonight, and let's start up a discussion and see where it goes. But yeah, there's been multiple reports of their partnership in the past. Prior to the reports have suggested that Hyundai's Kia brand will handle manufacturing. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the rest of that's not really too important. But essentially, they're planning on, Apple's investing $4 trillion, or 4 trillion won, or $3.6 billion into Kia. Now, one thing we could take a look at here that's always really interesting is to take a look at Apple. So I know that Apple has actually been stockpiling a lot of their cash recently, and this actually might be the reason why. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is, because let's take a look at the Apple's. Let's see if I can find it on this report here. If I can't, it's kind of whatever. But yeah, so essentially, I know that Apple has been stockpiling their cash, and so it's probably for this deal that they're gonna throw at Kia to start making the Apple car. Super exciting stuff. And so, like I said, hey, if this information is new to you, or you're excited about it, do me a favor, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. What it does is it sends out my information to new people who haven't seen it. So if you guys appreciate this content, just do me a favor, smash that like button. let's see here. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. I kind of want to keep it short tonight. This one I think was pretty awesome. So, the ticker symbol is CPSH, and the company is CPS Technologies Corporations. I just pull up this other article here real fast. So these guys do they make military armor. And so what's happened, wait, am I looking at the right one? Yes. Okay. So CPS Technologies Corporations receives purchase order for hybrid tech armor panels for aircraft carriers. And so these guys, what they've done is we could just jump into this. CPS Technologies Corporation today announced receipt of a purchase order of hybrid tech armor panels to be installed as strike face of advanced ballistic shields to support the U.S. Navy. Moving down here, the CEO said that CPS is very pleased to be making a significant contribution to the safety of our men and women in uniform. These guys have been doing this for years. So CPS has been making armor, military grade armors, things like that for years and years and years now. And it's kind of exciting to see them finally make some deals. Taking a look at the deal they made is a $28 million deal when it comes to protecting the aircraft carrier fleet. But yeah, looking at the stock here, this is a 5-year chart. It only really goes back to early 2017 or let me see here. Anyway, so yeah, it definitely blows up here. You take a look at let's zoom in here on the chart, and so a couple days ago it was $3 a share, and now it's sitting at 16.50, and so pretty exciting stuff to see that this explosive type of growth with these companies. And this is definitely something, if you're interested in, I recommend that you take a look into the different numbers before you just go in and buy. But like I said, I'm not a financial advisor as well. I'm just here to give some information and educate a little bit before you go in and do your own numbers and buy these stocks. But definitely there's been some massive increase in these companies as far as valuation and things like that. So let's hop into the next one. This one is actually kind of exciting to me. I've kind of been on this. Currently my portfolio lacks quite a bit of renewable energy, and so this is something that I was pretty excited to find, and I haven't quite had time to do the in-depth research to see if this is something I'm going to put my money into, but I'm definitely going to take a look at this tonight and tomorrow morning as I make my decision on what I'm going to put my $250 in next Monday. And so this could be one of the stocks I'm considering right now. We'll have to figure out when Monday rolls along. And so let's see. So these guys, here's their chart. Here's their 1-year chart. So they've been trending at 5-6 cents. It's been hovering that for the last year. Blew up into $1.50 today. Now that is some insane growth. So that's pretty exciting to see. These companies absolutely demolish the graph, parabolic rise in stock price. And so this is pretty exciting. So here's the reason why these companies have been doing so well. This one. So they're looking to Solar Integrated Roofing is looking to do an EV charger installer acquisition. And so essentially they're poised to be able to set up charging stations. And I'm sure in these charging stations they'll use their own technology to power the charging stations. And so after dedicated electric vehicles charging solutions division, solar integrated roofing, is exploring the potential acquisition of various EV charging installers nationwide. And so I know that they're, from another article that I read, they're looking to target selected areas in California right now as, here it is. So with some states such as California setting aggressive regulatory targets of all new vehicle sales to be zero emissions by 2035. And so guaranteed they're going to be targeting California pretty heavily when it comes to these charging stations. The company's primary focus within the EV charging vertical will remain the sales, marketing, installation, and service of personal EV chargers at residential properties, as well as public EV charging infrastructure for network operators. So essentially probably looking for deals with Tesla to be their charging stations, and helping people come up with the roofing solutions on their own homes as well. So it's pretty awesome that they're looking to do. So essentially what they have is, let me see here. According to a New Precedence research report, the EV charging market size is set to surpass $39 billion by 2027, and that is essentially like a 40% increase from 2020 to 2027. And here's what the CEO had to say about that as well. We are well positioned to acquire promising EV chargers, installers, and key growth areas across the U.S. But like I said, I'm pretty sure they're going to mainly focus. I know that there are a couple other cities that are starting to become a little more aggressive when it comes to the zero emission regulatory targets. But California, by and large, is mainly dominating that space as far as making sure that there's zero emissions of new vehicle sales. And so definitely I think these are three pretty exciting stocks to take a look into. Apple has always been a tried and true as far as growth. You take a look at their growth over the last since they started. They're just blowing up, and them exploring new sectors for them to focus into outside of, just the technology aspect of it. They've been expanding over the years. Obviously they started with, computers, shifted into MP3s, shifted into phones, to tablets, to computers, to laptops, to cloud services. There's definitely a wide range to the App Store. I should have added that. These are all different revenue sources that Apple generates, and so definitely super interesting to see them jump into the auto industry. Like I said, I've always been a big fan of the aesthetic of Apple products, and so I'm pretty excited to see what they come up with as far as what the car looks like, what the car feels like. I even had a buddy that worked at Apple for a while, and part of like the trainings that they did is the Apple employees weren't allowed to actually open up the boxes when they got their new products, right? So they'd be in the store and they bought it, and they're helping them set everything up, and they wanted the customer to have this high-end experience when opening their products. And so even like the design all the way down to the box, as like you open it up and it plops out in like this like air suction, you know what I'm saying? So it's the whole experience of everything that they do is finely tuned and well thought out. And so I truly believe that Apple's going to create a wonderful, luxurious feeling car that is also very simplistic. And so, like I said, I'm pretty excited about that. And if you don't have any part of your, in your portfolio, if you don't have much of the, as far as military or like the war sector, in there. This might be one you might want to consider, especially because they're making deals right now. They have a patent. One thing I read too, I don't know if I went over this, but multiple parts of the armor panels that they're putting on the ships, they have patents on it. I don't know if it was in this, but I don't know if it was in this article. But essentially, these are my three stocks I'm going over today: Apple, CPS, and SIRC. So yeah, if you're interested in those, like I said, take a look into those more later on as far as in-depth research on the numbers. I also in the future plan on posting a video on how I analyze these stocks to decide if I want to put my own money into it. I go into that a little bit on my weekly video, as I plan on spending $250 a week into the market. And so I do analyze the stocks I'm buying, but I don't necessarily talk about all the other research that I do when I'm looking into like history and news and things that, looking at like future forecasting and things like that of the stock. And so sometimes I will go into those things if it's something that I feel like needs to be talked about in my videos, but it's not an every time thing. And so in the future, I do plan on making a video on helping people analyze these different companies and stocks so that they can buy stock, discounted stock that isn't doing that great right now. And kind of maybe like a teaser for next Monday, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going over Nintendo. So if you take a look at NTDOY right now, I'll just do a quick little, I'll just do a quick one real fast, just so you can see likely what I'm going to be buying next Monday. And so, taking a look at the last, 5 years of Nintendo, I mean, they've had wonderful growth as a company, up starting at $17, and we're sitting at, hey, this chart isn't right. Let me see here. That's not the right one. Let me pull up. Let me pull up the right one here real fast. No. Oh yeah, that must actually is the right one. Okay. But yeah, they've had amazing growth over the last 5 years. Starting off at 17 all the way up to $74 right now. But if you take a look at like the current trend, it's definitely in the red. There's a couple other things that I find super interesting as well. I don't know if you've heard of who Kathy Woods is. She is the manager for the ETF ARKK. And a little bit about that ETF is last year it outperformed the market by 90%. And so she's been buying a ton of Nintendo. So take a look at this. Kathy Woods, Nintendo stock. I found something the other day. I wonder if it's going to be easy to find. Buying an NTDOY stock. I don't remember where I found it. It's the problem. See, this is kind of impromptu, so this is just something that I wasn't quite prepared for. But essentially, let's see what happened. Wood has been buying Nintendo dating back to October. The ETF manager added more shares of Nintendo in all 5 trading days last week, buying nearly 671,000 shares of Nintendo. That was back in November. I found another one, but she's, like I said, since then she has stocked up on even more Nintendo stock. And so we all know what happens at the end of the year with gaming companies. So Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, all of these devices fly off the shelves, right? You know, starting Black Friday, sometimes even before that. And so as far as these gaming companies, we know for a fact that there is a big demand at the end of the year for these things. Nintendo has increased their targets for what they are looking to sell this year as well. Last year we had a huge boom because Nintendo had a huge boom because of the fact that coronavirus is there, everybody's stuck at home. And so like it was actually, for a while, it was very difficult for people to buy Switches because the second they would hit the shelves, they were off of them. And so you saw oftentimes people were reselling the Nintendo Switches on eBay for, you know, $200-300 more than they bought it at the retail store. And so there's definitely, you know, the fact of the matter that Nintendo saw a massive boom because of the coronavirus selling their device, the Nintendo Switch there. And then this year they're aiming to sell even more than they did last year is a pretty crazy thing. And so I'm going to go over I'll likely be going over the numbers with that Monday, and I'm going to be putting at least $250 into that stock. If that ends up being the one. There's one other stock that I'm looking at here that might be the one that I pick. But we'll see. And so but anyway, I'm gonna log off for now. Thank you guys so much for coming and watching. If you do have any questions, please leave me a comment, hit the subscribe button, like it for the YouTube algorithm, get it out there. And again, thank you guys so much.